Welcome to the cabin, everyone. This has been a long time coming, this video, but here we are in the cabin, finally doing the courtesy games room tour that a lot of people have asked me for numerous times. It's fair enough, you know, we talk a lot about the cabin on the Cabin Game Fever channels and don't always get to see it very often. So, for the first time in a long time, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, inside the cabin. And outside the cabin, there is a chicken. However, here we are in the cabin. We're going to talk about everything that's here. We're going to do a little tour around. We're going to show you what's on offer. Got to show you the wall of games, of course. The wall of games. Every games room needs a courtesy wall of games. And of course, we're not going to have time to go through all of those, but we can pull out some specials, some things that are good to talk about. I am going to do some other videos covering in a bit more depth some of the individual console libraries. But for now, it's just a quick look. Should we kick off with games consoles? Everyone wants to know about games consoles, don't they? What do we have here? Of course, we have a Vectrex. Anyone know about the Vectrex? It is a really, really cool machine. Has its own CRT screen built into it. It does have a console, a cartridge slot in there. You can put different cartridges in there. It allows you to play vector-based graphic games, which is something that you can't really find on any other console. You'll need your own dedicated vector graphic screen, which is what this has. The games themselves came with these cool little overlays, because it is black and white. So you get these little coloured overlays with each game, which brings a little bit of colour to the game. In this case, it's blue. This rather unhelpful cable that's hanging down in front of us is connected into my FrameMeister XRGB Mini. This is the last FrameMeister that was released. It's now been discontinued, and arguably the OSSC I think has potentially replaced the world of upscaling, I suppose you can call it, because that's essentially what it is. It's an upscaler. If you want to play on modern displays, old consoles, then you really want to get yourself an upscaler, because the handling of 480i, 480p, 240p, and all the other, and if you're in the power region, that would be 288i, I think it is anyway, bit boring that, but yeah, the resolution of signal on flat screen tellies is generally handled terribly by modern tellies, and the more modern, the worse it will be. If you're dealing with a 4K telly, this isn't. This is only a HD 1080p sort of late 2000s model TV, but it's got all the connectivity that I wanted. That's why I have it. But yeah, if you want that, then you're going to need an upscaler, and an upscaler is going to cost you quite a bit of money these days. Those FrameMasters aren't cheap. If you want to pick up one of those, if you want to go for the OSSC, that also will set you back quite a bit of dosh, but they do look fantastic. Obviously, I can't really do it justice here in the cabin, especially with all the windows open and all the light shining on the screen, etc. It doesn't look good. At night time, it looks fantastic. But yeah, that's demoing at the moment. The GameCube Rogue, what's it called? Rogue Leader, one of my GameCube titles. That's pretty much the only console that I actually run. Well, I run the PS2 through here as well. Pretty much everything else gets played on this beautiful machine, which again is covered in horrible reflections. I apologise, all the windows are open, but this is my Bang & Olufsen MX7000, a wonderful CRT telly. Arguably, I mean, I know a lot of people love the Trinitron, and the Trinitron is a fantastic machine. I actually have a 32-inch Trinitron in storage somewhere, but it is so big, that thing, that and obviously most of my gaming I'm playing is all 4x3, so there's no need to have a widescreen telly. This is 28-inch, which is pretty much the biggest 4x3 telly you can get, and it's fantastic. I love it. It looks absolutely beautiful, sounds fantastic. It's just a beast of a machine. It does have a motorized bevel, so you can spin the screen around, although you can just walk over there and turn it, that's easier. And it's got 2 RGB SCAR inputs, which is fantastic, so I can run 2 different switches, which I have done here. You'd have to excuse the mess of cables. It does occasionally look tidy down here, but it also very quickly turns into this spaghetti nightmare. But here we are. We have 2 3-way RGB splitters. That's one. Here's the other. And so I can have all my systems powered up. These things here, I can't. These are made by Hammer 101 selectors, I think they are. They're actually really affordable if you can find them anymore. I bought them for about 10, 15 quid, I think it was, and they give a really, really good signal, man. So I would really recommend them over anything else you'll find online. I don't notice any issues, dropout, color problems. They are fantastic. I love them. Again, I can't really do justice. I'm not even going to try and do justice by just shooting a screen. You just have to trust me. It looks awesome. Anyway, got my sort of 10-way power splitter down there. Label everything, guys. If you label everything, it makes life much, much easier. Right, so that's all the boring stuff done. Let's have a look at some consoles. I've talked about the Vectrex. Let's talk about what else is up here. Let's start at the back. So over here we have Core Graphics. This is, of course, if you know, the Core Graphics Mini, aka Turbo Graphics Mini, aka PC Engine Mini. All 3 models were released by NEC as a sort of novelty thing. I went for the Core Graphics one because I do have a Turbo Graphics, and so I just thought, yeah, I'll get a Core Graphics instead. It's a built-in machine. It doesn't really, this is just there for display. It's a ROM generator basically. Inside there is about I think it's about 20 games or so. Some of the best games on there, but it is missing a lot. It's only the cartridge-based games that they've ported on there. I don't think they've got any of the CD ones on there. To be honest, I haven't played it a great deal. I will get around to it at some point. It's a nice little thing to have. As with all these kind of mini consoles, they are quite fun, aren't they? But you know, they're just a bit of fun for me. They're not really what I really collect or are interested in. Okay, N64. Here's something I am interested in, of course. This, of course, got the red bit, which is the expansion pack, if anyone knows that. This one's been modded with the Ultra HDMI mod, which is a really, really cool mod if you want to play on modern display. But to be honest with you, it also looks really, really good just playing S-Video out via the CRT. It's a shame that you can't get RGB out of these unless you mod them. And to be honest, the difference between the step up from RGB to S-Video, or rather the step up from S-Video to RGB, isn't huge with the N64. So I think that personally, the mod is, I haven't had it, but from what I hear, it's not really worth the money. You're better off just getting an S-Video cable, outputting that way. However, Ultra HDMI mod, I do really recommend it if you want to play on a modern display. It looks really, really good. I think it probably does look better actually than S-Video on the CRT, but only just. But however, there is minor lag, as with anything. If you play on a modern display, you're going to get lag. The lag is very minimal. They've done a fantastic job there, but it is a tiny bit there. So I prefer playing it on a CRT. And it's also an extremely expensive mod, which I could have probably put that money elsewhere to something better, but I'm happy I did it. Next online, we have Sacrilege, because we have a Super Nintendo game. This is currently what I'm actually playing. This is just here for display purposes. We have the Mega Drive, of course. Now, I don't have a 32X, that disgusting sort of mushroom on top of it. No, I don't, and nor do I have any interest in purchasing one. There's so few games I would like for the 32X, and they're so expensive. I've got no interest in it. Very happy with the Mega Drive though, awesome machine, and of course the Mega CD. Lots and lots and lots of cool games available for both of those, and we have a pretty big collection of Mega Drive here. Goes all the way to the end over there, and down here got quite a fair bit of Mega CD. So 12 or 15 games, both of which library wise I would like to improve on at some point, and I will hopefully improve on them. But for the moment, I'm concentrating on Super Nintendo. However, I do love this machine and I play it a lot, and we will be beating the library for the Mega Drive very soon. When we finish the Super Nintendo challenge, that is next on the list. Now, you might be wondering, where is my Master System? Because I do have, a reasonable Master System collection as well. I do have a Master System. I have about 3 of them, in fact, kicking around. Model 1 and 2. I even have a Model 1 that's been modded to switch to 60 hertz. But to be honest with you, I'd use everything through this. There's no reason for me to use my Master System anymore, because I can use a power adapter. What's it called? Power converter, sorry. Power-based converter here. This is a power-based converter cartridge from DB Electronics, and sold by Retro Towers. And yeah, really, really cool machine. It's even got like the pause switch here, which you can turn on just like the original machine. So I just use that as my Master System adapter. Saves me having to put another console out. And my Mega Drive is also modded to switch to 60 hertz, so that's nice and easy. It also has a region selector, and Mega CD has a BIOS hack, so I can just play, well, any game. I can play CDRs, or I can play multi-region. It's all region free. So that's the Mega Drive. Then we got the mighty Super Nintendo, one of my all-time favorite machines ever. This is again modded. As you can see, it's been slightly wider in the cartridge slot. That allows me to fit the American carts in there. Some people don't like doing that kind of job. It's a bit of a hack and slash, isn't it? But at the end of the day, it's more handy than constantly using converters, I think, for my use. I have a lot of American cartridges, and it's quite nice to be able to slot them in nice and easily. The system is also modified. You can probably tell from the green light. It is multi-region. I can change the regions like so. And then we're back in the power region. And then we're back in NTSC. And we've got a 50, 60 hertz switcher in there as well. So we can play in 60 hertz all the games that work in 60 hertz. And here we have Super Metroid, in fact, playing in 60 hertz. I'll show you the switch to 50. See, look at that squash. Ugh, yuck, squash. No thanks. Horrible slowdown. Put it back to 60. Right, anyway, so what else do we have? Is that the end? No, that's not the end at all. We go further down here, and we have ourselves the Dreamcast. Fantastic machine. This one actually needs a bit of work to it. I mean, it's fine, but I do need to do a little power fix with it. And I also want to replace the internal watch battery that's in there, so that I can get the clock to keep on working. So I'm going to do a little video on that at some point, guys. If your Dreamcast has got an issue where every time you turn it on, your clock is telling you it's 97, we're going to do a little video on fixing that at some point, as well as random power dropouts, which is happening with this machine. I need to do a little fix for the power switch. That's a very easy thing to do. But yeah, Dreamcast, we've got a nice collection of Dreamcast games over here, some imports as well. And then down at the bottom, the PS2, original fat model. Swap Magic, yeah. I mean, this stuff, it does work, but it's not great for your drives. However, it is really one of the only ways to play import games without modifying the system. I haven't actually modded my PS2. I do have good old, what's it called? Free McBoot installed on this cartridge, which allows me to hack the system and do all kinds of fun things. But I don't have it modified to play import games, which is a shame. But yeah, cool system. Actually looks better to play PS1 on PS2, if that's what you want to do as well. I tend to just play mine on the PS1 and keep it on the CRT, but slightly better looking on the PS2. But a really cool machine. Right, next up we've got the PS3, looking rather dusty and unloved. Yes, it's been a while since I played the PS3, I'm afraid, but I do have a lot of love for the PS3. It's actually my favourite PlayStation, I'd say, after the PS1. And it's got some great games for it as well. I have a reasonable library for the PS3. It's sort of tucked away underneath the couch because that's where I ran out of room. I do have a PS4 as well, but that actually lives inside the house and is our media centre, and that's really all it ever gets used for. And I have no interest in PS5, 6, 7, 8, 9, don't care. I'm done with modern consoles, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, PS3 does get played quite often, just hasn't been played for a long time. Beneath that, down here, we have a Wii U. Now this doubles up as my Wii. Again, it hasn't been played for a long time, but it's down there. I actually turned it on the other day and realised that I'd stupidly left batteries inside my Wii remote, and they had rotted inside there, causing some battery leaking. So I had to clean that up. Haven't actually got the controller working again yet. I think I need to get some new batteries because all the ones I've got are dead. I want to see if I can get myself a wired remote. That's what I want. There must be a wired remote, surely, available for the Wii remotes. Seems strange there isn't, because yeah, who wants to use batteries? Stupid. Anywho, that does double up as my original Wii as well. The emulation on the original Wii isn't great. You're better off having an original Wii, but for space saving, and I don't have a huge Wii collection anyway, so it serves my purposes. Over here, next in line, we have the mighty Sega Saturn, which again has been modified. This one has been modded for 50-60 hertz switch. Although again, most of the games, well, a lot of the games anyway on the Saturn allowed you to actually choose at the title screen, along with the Dreamcast. Sega were pretty good to their fans in that way. But yeah, it's a shame that I could have probably bought myself an import Saturn. But yeah, Sega Saturn wise, I do have got some games down here. Got a couple of Japanese imports too. And of course you can see the Action Replay Plus, a fantastic bit of kit to play with your Sega Saturn, an essential piece of kit for playing imports. Down here at the bottom, of course, the mighty, beautiful, old school NES. This guy has been modified with the RGB mod, as you can see on the front there. Now that means that I can, yeah, I can output the system via RGB, and the difference is night and day, guys. It really is night and day. Beautiful, beautiful piece of kit, and lots of love for that machine. I like the palette swapping options on there too. I'll do a video about that one as well at some point, along with the Ultra HDMI, because they're both good fun. Right, moving on. Ooh, didn't like that angle. Moving on, we have down here in the corner the mighty GameCube. This is another fantastic machine. You know, it came out around the same time as the PS2. Didn't do that well because of the PS2. Over here, it did pretty well, but not as well as it could have done. And it is, you know, it is a beautiful machine. It looks fantastic, plays fantastic. Some great games on there. Quite expensive to buy for nowadays. I'm quite lucky I picked up a lot of the games I wanted for it early. Although I'm sure, of course, there's lots more games. It's currently playing up there via my RGB Mini. Looking pretty good on a modern display. Right, so, oh, hold on. We haven't finished. What have we got down here? We have, I mean, sacrilegiously, a PlayStation 1 sitting on top of a TurboGrafx. I used to keep my PlayStation 1 up here, but it kept on sort of slipping off, so I just thought, screw it. It stays down here now. This has actually been modified to play copy games, import games as well, so that's quite handy. Yeah, it's a PlayStation 1. It does its job. It would be nice to have an original model, but I actually quite like this Model 3. This is the first one that was actually called PS1, as it says there, as opposed to PlayStation. It says PS1. Kind of cool. I enjoy that one. And below that, yes, we have a TurboGrafx. This is a PAL model TurboGrafx, which, you know, really at the end of the day was a huge mistake. I should have just bought myself a PC Engine. Really wish I'd listened to some advice that I'd taken. But at the time, I was obsessed with getting everything in PAL because I was a PAL collector. But anyway, I have it there. I have some games for it. Not a great deal, but it's a really cool little machine. I don't ever really intend to improve on the gallery of games for that console. Okay, so let's carry on with the cabin tour. What have we got on display? Coffee table here. Some good reading here. Ultimate Guide to the NES by Pat Contry. Really good book. Pat Contry's Ultimate Guide to the Super Nintendo. And what cabin would be complete without Mega Drive and Genesis Encyclopedia. Every single game on there by Chris Scullion. Really fascinating books. Use them all the time. Great reference for kind of flicking through and keeping up to date with new additions to the libraries. Let's have a quick look at those libraries now. We're going to start from the top. There's no real order to any of these. They're just whatever was the good way to set them up at the time. So here we are, PlayStation 1. Let's have a little scroll through some of these games. Maybe we should start from A. Yeah, some rare things here. The Alundra games kind of go for good money. Breath of Fires do. Obviously Castlevania Symphony of the Night, just called Castlevania there, but that is Symphony of the Night. Along with Castlevania Chronicles, quite a cool little remake or reworking of the classic games. Cool Borders, Crash Bandicoots, Croc, Destruction Derbies, Dino Crisis, Die Hard Trilogy. That's a really cool game. Love that. Discworld. Sorry about that. I'm trying to let you read these. Disruptors, Doom. That's a great port. Doom, Driver, Duke Nukem, Fade to Black. Fear Effect games are cool. Fighting Force, Front Missions, cool games. All the Final Fantasies. There, up on the second row, got more Final Fantasy. Future Cop, G Police, those are cool. Galarians, Ghost in the Shell, it's quite rare. GTA's original, Harvest Moon, Heart of Darkness, Jade Cocoon, Jinx, Jumping Flash. I'm not sure what that plain one is. Cooler World is a really cool card. Oh, I think I know what this is. This is, oh yeah, Klonoa. Missing its wraparound card, which is a shame. What's that? Oh, Legend of Dragoon. That one you can't quite see. That's a cool game too. Lemmings. We got Lost Vikings loaded. Metal Slugs, Martian Gothic, Micro Machines. Oh, my favourite, Micro Machines V3, which is one of my favourite racing games ever. Nanotech Warrior, Necromonian, that's what it's called. Oddworld games, Pac-Man, Parasite Eve games, those are really cool. Raiden Project, R-Types, Rapid Reload, that's a rare one. Resident Evils. Here at the top we've got the Spyro games, Strider, Suikoden 1 and 2, it's very rare, sought after those are. Siphon Filters, Tekken, Time Crisis, Tomb Raiders, all of them. And then we've got the Vagrant Story, Vandal Hearts, quite sought after. And then coming to some imports. The Ark of the Lad collection, that's all the Ark of the Lad games. And over here, hard to see these because of the imports, but we've got some really cool imports here. Crusader No Remorse, that's just a disc, that one, it's not that great. Dragon Warrior, what's that, 5, 6, that's 7? 7, yeah. Chrono Cross, Secret of Mana, Legend of Mana, the sequel to Secret of Mana. We got, Ironhander, whoa, sick game. Parasite Eve, the original. Silhouette Mirage, fucking cool game as well from Treasure. And Xenogears. So lots of cool imports there, all quite sought after and rare, those. I move on to the PlayStation 2. Still a lot of games on my wish list for this console. Huge amount of games released for this, but I have a quick run through of this. Yeah, some really cool games on here. Capcom collections. Canum Edit, that is Bully, if anyone's wondering. That's what it's called over here. The Conflict games, Dead to Rights, yeah, Devil May Cry, Echo, Exterminator, Fahrenheit, Final Fantasy games, Freedom Fighters. A lot of really cool games on the PS2. Getaway and the Getaway Black Monday, they're really fun. Ghost Hunter, Godfather, God Hand. These are all cool games, you know, at the end of the day. Gradius 3 and 4, Gradius 5. All the Grand Theft Autos, of course, absolutely classic games there. Gran Turismo. Oh, Gregory Horror Show. That is a great fun game. Gunbird, that's bloody difficult. Half-Life, yeah. Ico, of course, wonderful game. Jack and Dexter, anyone played those? They're great fun. Kingdom Hearts, Lego, Star Wars, Wicked. Maximo, the sequel to Ghosts and Goblins, or the sort of updated version, of great fun. Max Payne, MDK. These are all great games. I'm sure you might know most of these. We're really looking at most of the classics on the system. Monster Hunter, Mr. Mosquito, Namco, Odin Sphere. That's meant to be kind of fun. I haven't tried it. Akami. That's an amazing game. on a Mishu, Primal, Prince of Persia, Project Eden, Project Zero. That is Fatal Frame if you're in the States. Psychonauts, Cyvaria, Ratchet and Clank games, Rez. Really belongs on Dreamcast, Rez, but there you go. I've got it on here. Resident Evil, Ring of Fear. Actually, you know what? Rez on PlayStation 2, they actually did have a special peripheral designed just for the PlayStation 2, actually. So, but I don't have it. Shadow Colossus, one of my favourite games ever. The Silent Hill games, Simpsons, Suffering, blah blah. Tato Legends, that's a great collections to have. The Thing's a really cool game. Time Splitters, all the Tom Clancy games are great fun. Tony Hawk's 4, that's actually my favourite one of all of the Tony Hawk games. Warriors, we love Katamari's a mad game. Yakuza games, they're fun. We've only got Yakuza 1. There's loads of them now, 6 I think. There's only the Enders. A couple of imports here. We've got Mega Man X collection, all the Mega Man X games and all the Mega Man games. And this is a shooter, I think, Trigger Heart Alexia, Trigger Heart Excelsior shooter. Right, Super Nintendo. Wow, look at that. I've got quite a few there. I've gone full Patrick Bateman on this. American Psycho, yeah. Everything is wrapped in plastic. Because I only have carts for the Super Nintendo. That was always my decision when I started collecting, was just to go for cartridges to save my money. Because it is a very expensive system to collect for. And I have a pretty amazing collection, I think, now. I would say that I've got almost every game that would be considered to be like worth playing, really. I've always made it my ambition to pick up almost every single I would say mediocre and above game on the system, and I'm very happy with my collection. It's going to be quite hard to show you these. I'm going to do a much more in-depth video actually showing you the Super Nintendo, so we won't go through that. It's quite hard to read with all the plastic around them, but it just has to be said that I would say I have pretty much everything that you might want for it, with the exception of the Mega Man X2 and 3 and Mega Man 7, as well as Captain Commando, Pocky and Rocky, and Pocky Rocky 2, Joe and Mac 2 as well. I think that's about it. I think those are the only ones I don't have I would say, just because they're just so rare and expensive, and I've got lots of very, very rare expensive games for the Super Nintendo, but you've got to stop somewhere, guys. And with my 2 daughters now, I just can't justify spending a lot of money on games anymore. So I pulled the plug there on some of the most expensive ones. But I'm still very happy with what I've got, and obviously I'm currently playing through the entire library. We're on game 131 at the moment, 132, and we will be beating all 190 games that I currently have. Which takes us to another console, the NES. This is a console that I've actually beaten the entire library for. Well, the entire UK library, which is what I have here, which is by no means the whole library at all. It's in 234 games, which is about a quarter. About just about a third of all the games that were released for the system. It's a shame they didn't release more over here, but alas, they didn't, and it's fine. It's allowed me to collect all of the library, which I'm very happy about. They're all boxed, with the exception of Stack Up and Miracle Piano. To be honest, I have here. I don't think Miracle Piano was actually released with its own box. I think it came only with the actual piano with peripheral. So can't be certain if that ever saw a release in a box. I'm not sure. Maybe it did. You can let me know. However, I don't have it boxed anyway. Neither do I have Donkey Kong Junior Math boxed. They're all just cartridge only, I'm afraid. Anyway, all 234 of those games I did beat 2 years ago for charity. It took me about a year. It was extremely painful and difficult. All games were beaten using the guidelines outlined by Mexican Runner and his gaming challenge that he did, where he beat every single NES game. Far more impressive than I did. And yes, some of the guidelines set for these games is very difficult, especially the games that are that don't really have an end point. You just have to achieve certain achievements to actually call them complete. But I did it hardcore, with the exception of 1 or 2 games like Ikari Warriors, which there was just no way that I was going to commit to beating it the way that he did, and the way very few other people on the planet ever have. So I did use the ABBA code for that. However, anyway, that was the NES. As some of you might have noticed, there are some other games on this shelf over here. Yes, this is my rather small GameCube collection, but you know, it's small, but it are you going to focus for me, buddy? No, it's small, but it's got, you know, the kind of games that I want on it. Currently got Rogue Leader and Metroid Prime somewhere else, but those are, yeah, so it's a decent library. A lot of the games, the best games for the system, I actually have on PS2 because it was slightly cheaper, and there's a few GameCube games I'm still after, but yeah, I'm happy enough with that. Then we have my very pitiful Wii and Wii U collection over here, which is what it is. Yeah, there's the Wii U remote. It's small. I could certainly improve that one day, but you know, it's never been my main interest, really, to be quite honest with you. Moving down to the next level, what have we got down here? Well, yeah, we've got the Master System and the Mega Drive. Should we start with the Master System? Some really fun games: Air Rescue, Alex Kidd. I do have Alex Kidd and Miracle World built into 2 of my Master Systems, but they're not on display. I don't have the actual cartridge. Very rare, that cartridge. Years, The Vanishing Omens. These aren't in alphabetical order for some reason, but yeah, Ninja Gaiden, Lord of the Sword, Fantasy Zone, Gauntlet, Ghostbusters, Ghost House, Global Gladiators, Astro Warrior, Hang On. We've got Mission Impossible. Sorry, Impossible Mission. Danan, Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap. That really is possibly the greatest game on the system. One of, anyway. Golden Axe Warrior, Montezuma's Revenge. That's actually an NTSC import. Don't get many of those for the SMS. It's very power region heavy games console, but alas, I do actually have an import for that. Penguin Lands, quite fun. Fantasy Star, the original. Prince of Persia, Psycho Fox, fantastic game. I got that one for free, actually. A really cool game, great freebie. Shinobi. The Master System Sonic games are actually the GameCube games. I'm not sure about Chaos, but certainly 1 and 2 are the, not GameCube, Game Gear. They are the Game Gear Sonic games. So if you get a Master System, it is worth getting them, because they're not just copies of, you know, sort of weaker copies of the Mega Drive versions. They're actually their own thing. Masters of Darkness, that's a really cool game. It's Castlevania. Sega's answer to Castlevania. Golvius is great. Zillion. Should get Zillion. I've only got Zillion 2 at the moment. I need to get that. Right, so Mega Drive. A lot of titles you'll recognise. Aladdin. Don't know what this Arena one is. What's that? Alien 3, is it? It is, Alien 3. Alicia Dragoon, Altered Beasts. There's a lot of games still on my hit list for the Mega Drive. We'll get there eventually. Atomic Runner, Biohazard Battle, Blades of Vengeance. That's a cool game. Bonanza Bros. Need to remove that label at some point. Buck Rogers, Cannon Fodder. Buck Rogers is just a super geeky RPG, but anyway. Cannon Fodder, fantastic. Castle of Illusion, World of Illusion. Castlevania. Yeah, it's decent. Decent, that one. It's not as good as the Nintendo ones, but it's good. Chuckan. It's quite fun. Comic Zone, cool spot. Decap Attack. A couple of imports here for the Genesis. We've got a Dinosaur. What's this one? So Dinosaurs for Hire. It's okay. Run and Gun. Doom Troopers is wicked. That's actually a photocopied sleeve, because it originally came in a cardboard box. It's mega rare. Don't have it. Do have Double Dragon in the original cardboard box though. Dynamite Heady, fantastic game. Strike games, Echo games. Empires of Steel is cool. X Mutants, Flashback. Gain Ground. Here we go. There's an original in its box. Import again. Gargoyles. That's worth a heck of a lot of money nowadays. Decent game. Disney. Good fun. Ghouls and Ghosts. Golden Axe 2, it's the only one I've got actually. I should get the others at some point. Never got around to it. Gunstar Heroes, fantastic. Gynog, Haunting, starring Poltergeist. That's Hellfire. Thanks, Yoshi. He's like, why am I sitting on top of these games? I don't belong here. But he is. Hellfire, Immortal, James Pond, Duel Master, that's cool. Jurassic Park, Kid Chameleon, classic. Landstalker, that is a fantastic RPG. I absolutely love that. If you haven't played that and you like action RPGs, I definitely recommend that. Then over here, Legend of Galahad, that's really cool. Light Crusader, that's Treasures RPG. I haven't got around to that, meant to be very good. Lost Vikings, brilliant. Lion King, Amazing Wars, Mercs, Micro Machines and Mortal Kombat, Mystic Fighter, The Ooze, Fantasy Star 1, 2, and 3. Oh, sorry, 2, 3, and 4. And then up here, Phantom 2040, meant to be very, very cool, kind of Super Metroid type thing. I haven't really played it, so can't comment. Got the Predator 2, we've got Konami? We've got Probotector, sorry, which is Contra Hardcore, or Hard Corps. Very tough game, for sure, but really cool. Quackshot, Ranger X, Ristar, really cool. We've got Road Rash, Robocop vs Terminator, Rocket Knight Adventures, Shining Force 1 and 2, those are sought after. Shinobi games, Skeleton Crew, it's a cool sort of top-down bird's-eye shooter. Solil, that's quite a rare RPG. All the various Sonic games. Story of Thor, Streets of Rage 1 and 2, don't have 3. One of those games I should have bought many times. I could have had that game for 25 quid if you believe that. Now look at it. Lucky to get it for under 100. Strider, Sword of Vermilion, Techno Clash, Toe Jam and L Games, Thunder Force 4, True Lies, Truxton, Vector Man, Subterranea, Zool, Wiz and Liz, Zero Wing. Those are some of the Wonder Boy games. Xenon, a couple of imports here, Grenadier and Magical Hat Adventure. Yeah, so quite a few I still like. I don't have, things like Mega Turrican. Don't have Hyperstone Heist. Obviously don't have Alien Soldier. I mean, the list goes on in terms of games that I don't have for Mega Drive. Of course, there's loads of the import shooters, things like Glay Lancer and Musha Aleste, and all those kind of infamous Japanese-only Mega Drive shooters. And, there's many more than that as well. They were all on my wish list at some point, but we'll have to see if I ever really pick up any of those in the future. Time will tell. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Right, tucked between these two, we have my modest N64 collection. Doesn't look that big, but it covers all the big titles. God, there goes a few of my Mega Drive cartridges just falling off. No bother, they're protected. But anyway, I could quickly cover these really. I mean, there's not a lot to really talk about. We've got 1080, we've got the Banjos, we've got Blast Corps, Castlevania, Conker's Bad Fur Day, that's actually a pretty rare one, expensive. The Diddy Kong Racing, Donkey Kong 64, Earthworm Jim, F-Zero, GoldenEye. That's Mystical Ninja, starring Goman, the N64 one. Yeah, it's pretty cool, that. I like that. Not as good as this NES one though, by a long way. And then we got Jet Set Gemini, Wicked Game, Kirby 64 there, Mario Kart, Super Mario. Can't remember what that one is. I got that one free. Some sort of racing game. Perfect Dark, Robotron 64. That's really cool. Really enjoyed that update. Star Wars Battlefront, Torox games, Wave Racer, and of course the Zelda games. So yeah, Perfect Dark's in there. Did I say that? Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it's basic. There are a few other things on my wish list that I haven't got around to. One day, we'll get there. We've been working on the Super Nintendo and the NES for so long now. Like I said, I have 190 games up here. I will go through these in another video. I'm very happy with the SNES collection. It's there. It's really cool. Really happy with that. Equally with the NES. But there we pretty much... Oh no, I was going to say there we have it. Of course we don't. We haven't got down to the bottom shelf yet. Bottom shelf, guys. We've got Sega Saturn. Who doesn't like a bit of Sega Saturn? I'm not going to go through all of these. But yeah, we've got the Clockwork Knights, D's, Dark Saviors, Die Hard Arcade, Earthworm Jim 2, Guardian Heroes, Panzer Dragoon Game, Story of Thor, some other bits and bobs. Got some good imports as well. Dungeons and Dragons Advance. What's this one called again? Dungeons and Dragons Collections. basically the arcade cabinet. Capcom games, really cool. This is one of my favourite bullet hell games ever. Terror Diver, aka Suki Yugurentai. Really awesome game that is. This is Donpachi. Nah, it's alright. Really tough. Thunder Force 5, decent as well. And Knights. It's alright, yeah. Some cool imports in. Again, not that many. Obviously, the Sega Saturn is all about imports, and they're all exceptionally expensive. So no, I don't have many of them, but I'm very happy with what I've got. Mega CD. A couple of fun things here. Look at the size of these boxes, man. Ridiculous. Pugsy, Rise of the Dragon. That's Sega CD import. Terminator Snatcher, yeah, that's an original Snatcher. They're all original. But yeah, Snatcher, is it worth the money? No, it definitely isn't, but it's still a cool game. Night Trap, June, Cobra, Soulfierce, that's sort of like the standard. Everyone has to have that in their collection. We've got Soul Star, meh, it's okay. Sonic CD is good, Robo LS is great, Final Fight CD, there you go. That's the Mega CD collection. Dreamcast down here. Bang.io, Blue, Stinger, Carrier, Choo Choo Rocket, Crazy Taxi, Headhunter. That's quite a fun game. Again, you can get it on PS2. It's fine. Record of Lotus War. It's meant to be very good. Haven't played it. Toy Racer, Nomad Soul. That's actually got David Bowie doing an original soundtrack. Shenmue and Shenmue 2. Obviously, legendary games. Legacy of Kain, Rayman 2, Silent Scope, Skies of Arcadia. Sword of the Berserk, Guts Rage, and we've got, you know, the Sonic game, Sonic 2. I do have Sonic Adventure 1. It's inside this this CD wallet, which I got my Dreamcast with. There's also a load of games in there I can't be bothered to go through, but they don't have boxes. They're just the discs. And we have a couple of imports here. Not going to go there, but we've got D2 and Elemental Gimmick Gear. Yes, is that what it looks like? Yes, that is indeed Tempest 2000, and that is indeed a Jaguar cartridge, and I do indeed have a Jaguar. I just keep it in a box over here, down here, because I really can't be bothered to have it set up because I never use it. But in here we actually do have ourselves a Pong console. There is my Sega Master System, and the Jaguar is in there as well. As a few other bits, and just like in this one, I keep all my spare controllers, of which I have a ton. Down here also we've got, I can't remember to rinse all this out, but we do have a lot of stuff down here, including a load of TurboGrafx games. I've got some stuff for the Vectrex. I've got some Atari 2600. That's another console that I forgot to mention. Yes, there is also Atari 2600 in there, and I do play that sometimes. And over here, behind the spare bedding for the spare bed, yes, we have Game Boy. Just not modest little collection. But that's pretty much it. That is the games rooms, the cabin game collection. Hope you enjoyed that. We do still have, obviously, some books up here, and over here is my music area. My turntables, big jungle drum and bass fan, been mixing that for close to 20 years now, ever since I was 16. So I used to have probably about over 1,000 vinyls, but I sold the lot after I digitized it and sold the lot. This is stuff that I kept. This is actually not all drum and bass. Some of this, well, actually, this box here is like other music. But this is what's left of my sort of jungle. It's just like rare jungle that I've bought, vinyl only stuff, exclusive stuff, which I guess I'll try and sell at one point. But yeah, to be honest, I digitize everything and use Serato now, which is a fantastic bit of kit, allowing you to control music via a turntable, but it's playing off a laptop. So yeah, really cool bit of kit. Use that still. And here is my workstation area. This is where I do all my repairs. and you know, it's quite an essential part of the cabin's work these days, is doing repairs. It's all very important. You know, I picked up a lot of tools over the years. We can do another video maybe going through the tools and things that I've got, and I don't know if anyone's interested in that. Maybe we'll do one of those, but probably a bit boring. But yeah, it's unfortunately quite an important part of having a collection nowadays, is being able to do repairs on stuff. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't the case, but we will have to start doing repairs these days. Anyway, I've been here out in the cabin talking for nearly an hour now. Starting to get a bit of dry mouth, so we're going to call it quits there, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little ramble around the cabin, because it's been a long time in coming, I know, but at the end of the day, it's just one of those things I can never be quite bothered to do. But I'm glad I've done it now, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm now going to sit down and enjoy some games myself, and hopefully finish off Terranigma. See you later.